I full time I work at a company called Godrej that makes soaps and Goodnight and these things, and my job primarily involves understanding how to manipulate people into buying more of the same thing and buying it at a higher price. So it's great fun because it satisfies my ego very much because I get to feel like I'm in control of the mind and people's mind, and I get to think of different ways to manipulate people. So that's what I do in my full-time job. It's market research. I do consumer insights and market research. That's what it's called. It's a fancy title for a very shady role of manipulating people. But it's good because I've been doing it for the last 13 years. I've been doing this role in different places for the last 13 years. And what it's made me realize is that and part of my job involves meeting a lot of people. I'm constantly interacting with people, understanding their greatest anxieties, their fears, their concerns, to understand what points we can sort of, press to get them to buy. And the one thing that is absolutely very clear is no one is happy with material world. It's something that we've heard time and again, and when we sit in our own stations without meeting other people, we keep thinking, कि अरे मेरे से कोई तो ज़्यादा खुश होएगा ना. Although I cannot be this unhappy, there must be someone who is happier than me for sure. Because we go through life thinking that the world's burden of unhappiness, misfortune, instability is all on our heads. So, but I can guarantee you that is not the case. Nobody is happy in the material world. Everyone, right from the richest person in the material world to the smallest people, no one is happy, and they're all hoping that for that one little thing that will change their life. Whether it's a little bit more money, it's a different car, it's another flat in Juhu, it's another 3-4 crore rupees in their account. No, alleged. People believe that is going to change their life and that is going to make them happy. By Krishna's mercy, when I meet these people, I realize that more and more that that happiness is not to be found in the material world. Wo clear. So by Krishna's mercy, I think, that is one realization that the Lord has given me through my job, which is why I like doing it, which is why I keep doing it, I think. Also because I enjoy it and it pays well. So, in my role in the temple, I try a little bit to serve Radha Raspyari. I serve in the deity department under Apurva Prabhu. I look after Radha Raspyari's, shringar, their clothes. On festivals, the altar decoration I look after. I also have the opportunity to cook for the Lord sometimes. Like yesterday, Saturday, I had a chance to cook for the Lord. So yeah, it's my. I'm not a very avid reader as much as I would like to be a reader of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, but I try. I don't read as much as I'd like. So you will find me looking towards Vijayamada Prabhu or Vasu Prabhu for verses because I don't remember verses that well. I remember the gist of things, but not so much. I really enjoy reading Krishna Leela. I think when you're I think somehow that has always been my interest area. So right now, Temple Bhagavatam classes I'm really enjoying because Temple Bhagavatam class are 10 cantos, all of Krishna Leela. I'm enjoying listening to those. At home, I have my beloved deity, Radha Partha Sarthi. So I try to serve them every day a little bit as well. And yeah, that's, I think, as broad an introduction as we could give anything. So yeah, so yeah, that's my introduction. We'll do. So before we get introduction, have you talked about Jai Radha Madhava and why we sing it before class? You've talked about it now. So all of you know this song, Jai Radha Madhava, Punjabi Hari. Yeah. The meaning of the song. Let's do that first. I think it's very important that whatever we do in Krishna Consciousness, it's very meaningful what we do. It's not also English, Hindi. What is better? English only. Okay. I'm more Hindi, but okay. English is fine. Are there devotees from South India and stuff who don't speak that much Hindi? Are you all comfortable if I sort of move between Hindi and English? They're okay? चलेगा ना? ठीक है. तो जो हमारी कृष्ण भावना मूवमेंट है, जो कृष्ण मूवमेंट है, बहुत ज्यादा मीनिंगफुल है. बहुत बार हमें लगता है कि भक्ति जो है वो बहुत कुछ भी चल रहा है रैंडमली, भगवान का नाम लेना है तो कोई भी नाम चलेगा, जो कि सही बात भी है एक तरीके से, बिकॉज कृष्ण का नेचर का एक ये बात हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि कृष्ण भगवान भी है, परमात्मा भी है और ब्रह्म भी है ना। वी हैव हर्ड दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कृष्ण ब्रह्मन, परमात्मा एंड भगवान. तो in his form as Brahma, Krishna is all encompassing. That Shastra describes Brahma as that which cannot be described. There is everything and everywhere and everyone. So उस perspective से देखा जाए तो सब कुछ कृष्ण है, तो कुछ भी करो तो एक तरीके से कृष्ण की भक्ति ही है ना. बट तो भी भक्ति में, क्योंकि हमारे आचार्यों ने कुछ कुछ चीजें बहुत स्पेसिफिकली की हैं, तो हम भी उसको फॉलो करते हैं एकदम जितना हो सके, बिकॉज कुछ तो मीनिंग होती है. तो जैसे हर क्लास में हम लोग जय राधा माधव गाते हैं, तो उसकी मीनिंग है. तो वील टेक अ मिनट टू टॉक अबाउट जय राधा माधव, बिकॉज मैंने भी बहुत दिनों के बाद पब्लिकली लीड किया है जय राधा माधव. जनरली मैं क्लास में गाता हूँ एज अ फॉलोअर, बट आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट दिस सॉन्ग. Prabhupada says for this song, for Jai Radha Madhav, that in this song the entire Braj is there. Braj Mandal is Geet mein hai, because there is Radha Rani, Jai Radha Madhav, Madhav is Krishna. Jai Radha Madhav, Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari refers to Krishna's name when he is roaming in the forest of Vrindavan. You must have heard, na? Vrindavan, Kunj Galiyan. तो कुंज बिहारी मतलब जो कुंज में विहार करते हैं, जब पर्सन इज एंजॉयिंग द कुंज, कुंज बिहारी. तो जय राधा माधव, राधा रानी है, कृष्ण है, दोनों कुंज विहार कर रहे हैं, कुंज बिहारी. गोपी जन वल्लभ है ना, मतलब जो गोपियों के मतलब प्राण वल्लभ हैं, जो गोपियों के प्राणों के आधार हैं कृष्ण. गोपी जन वल्लभ, तो वहां पे गोपियां भी आ गई. ठीक है, राधा रानी है, ब्रजभूमि है, कृष्ण है, गोपियां हैं, गोपीजन वल्लभ. ठीक है, फिर गिरिवरधारी, गिरिराज गोवर्धन के नाम कर रहे हैं, कृष्ण का नाम गिरिवरधारी है, तो जिन्होंने गिरिराज गोवर्धन को अपने हाथ में उठाया तो गिरिवरधारी. ठीक है, तो कौन कौन आ गए? राधा रानी, कृष्ण, गोपियां, वृंदावन धाम कुंज बिहारी से, गिरिवरधारी गोवर्धन भी आ गए. ठीक है, ठीक है, फिर यशोदा नंदन, ब्रज जनरंजन है ना, तो अभी यशोदा जी भी हैं. कृष्ण यशोदा नंदन, यशोदा के लाला है, नंद लाला, यशोदा नंदन. ब्रज जन रंजन, उसका मतलब क्या है? ब्रज जन मतलब जो ब्रज के लोग हैं, है ना, उनके रक्षा करने वाले, उनके प्रिय कृष्ण. ठीक है, तो अब कौन कौन है? राधा रानी, कृष्ण, वृंदावन, गोपियां, गिरिराज, यशोदा और ब्रज के सारे लोग. फिर आगे यमुना तीर वनचारी, तो मतलब यमुना तीर मतलब यमुना के तट पे जो वन है उसमें जो घूमते हैं वो कृष्ण, तो यमुना जी भी आ गए. हाँ, तो प्रभुपाद कहते हैं कि इस 4 पंक्तियों में जय राधा माधव, कुंज बिहारी, गोपीचंद वल्लभ, गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन, ब्रज जन रंजन, जमुना तीर वनचारी, इन 4 पंक्तियों में भक्तिनाथ ठाकुर ने पूरा ब्रजमंडल को समाहित कर दिया. So this is Prabhupada's definition. Prabhupada said that in this one song, all of Vrindavan is there. And Vrindavan, it is said that there are some very important things. There is what? There is Giri Govardhan, there is Yamuna Ji, there is the Braj of Braj. These are things that are very specific and important to Vrindavan. And Vrindavan यहाँ से जाने वाले हैं सब कार्तिक में. तो ये चीजें बहुत important है याद रखना कि ये सारी चीजें वृंदावन की specific हैं. And these are things that are unchanging in Vrindavan. That Braj is changing constantly. Now you will see like कोविड में बहुत सारा वृंदावन में डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, बहुत सारे रास्ते पक्के हो गए हैं, परिक्रमा पथ पूरा पक्का हो गया है, गिरिराज गोवर्धन की परिक्रमा भी पक्की कर दी है उन्होंने. So there's a lot of changes, डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है. ओ मैक्स के बड़े पावर्स आ गए वृंदावन में जो नहीं होते थे पहले. पर्सनली आई डोंट लाइक इट, बट इट्स गुड बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोग आके रह सकते हैं. बट ये चीजें हैं वृंदावन में अभी भी. मैं अभी भी होके आया हूँ, तो फ्रेश ध्यान में मेरे. केशी घाट में ब्रज, केशी घाट में यमुना जी हैं, व्रज रज है और गिरी गोवर्धन है. ये 3 चीज तो है ही, हमेशा रहेंगी. और राधा रानी, कृष्ण, गोपियां, ब्रजजन भी हैं, हमें दिखते नहीं है लेकिन वो भी हैं. तो So we sing this song so that we can remind ourselves of the point of all of this. है ना? हम लेक्चर में आए और कोई कोई लोग आते हैं लेक्चर में कि लगता है कि अपना टाइम थोड़ा भगवान के काम में, किसी अच्छे काम में लग जाएगा. कोई कोई आते हैं सोशल ऑब्लिगेशन के कारण कि अरे यार प्रभु जी ने बुलाया है, अब आना तो पड़ेगा, है ना. कोई लोग आते हैं फॉर because they're genuinely interested in finding out more about the world in which we live, because philosophy भी बहुत strong है अपनी. लेकिन the point of all of this that we're doing is to love Krishna, to have bhakti for Krishna. That's the point of it all. अगर वो नहीं हो रहा है तो फिर बाकी सब चीजें अच्छी हैं, they're fine. But in nowadays corporates में बहुत ये बात करते हैं first principles, है ना. First principles approach, you heard this? First principles approach होता है कि मतलब बेसिक क्या है, मेन जो बात है वो क्या है, पत्ते की बात क्या है, तो होता है ना. तो पति की बात ये है, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन जमुना तीर वनचारी. वहां पे अगर आप आ गए तो सारे जो एक्टिविटीज थे, आपने ऑटो लिया होगा, ट्रेन लिया होगा आने के लिए, आप सुबह उठ के नहा के ऑनलाइन आए होंगे, नहा के नहीं ऑनलाइन आए होंगे, लेकिन तो भी नेटवर्क बैटल्स किए होंगे बहुत बार ऑनलाइन आने के लिए. देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स. वॉइस इज ब्रेकिंग, काइंडली लुक आफ्टर.
This is slightly older comment. You can ignore. I think it's perfect right now.
Older comment. ठीक है. So we're doing these things, but we have to come back to this point. And if we can come back to this point, then it's all worth it. If we can't, then we're okay. I mean, it's not bad. Krishna says, no, anything that is there's no loss on this path. Anything that we do in Krishna's service is great. Mahato bhaya, Krishna says, no, it's able to save you from the biggest fear. So ठीक है, अच्छी बात है. But point ध्यान में देना है. So every time we are in class and we are singing Jai Radha Madhav, ध्यान रखिए कि we should pray to Radharani and Krishna, to Radha Madhav, to Radha Raskari, that we may be able to develop this loving attachment that for Vrindavan, for Radha Madhav, for the Brajavasis. And as someone who is giving that lecture, that person should meditate that if by my words someone can develop some affection for Krishna, then that is a success. So that's why I think the song is very important. Prabhupada sing the song, and so we sing it because we try to remember Vrindavan as we preach and we talk about it. We'll do the ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने. नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारणे. धन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः. कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते. तप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we were thinking a lot about विजय प्रभु को रामेश्वर जाना था, तो उन्होंने सोचा कि किसी और को बोल देते हैं बोलने के लिए. And we were thinking a lot yesterday about किस टॉपिक पे कुछ बोला जाए. So we went back and forth and we decided that we will be talking about a life in service of Krishna. So but before we do that, let's talk about our previous class and let's discuss क्या-क्या discuss हुआ था पिछली बार, realizations क्या थे सबके, सबको क्या याद है पिछले क्लास से. तो मेरा भी रिफ्रेश एक बार हो जाएगा because I wasn't there in the last class. So how do we begin? Just this.
Last time we read about chapter 7:14. We were discussing about the moods and that Krishna is free. We should praise him. That was the part. And there was also a discussion about the moods. How Maya is using these moods to make us move like puppets. We had quite a discussion last time.
Of the modes of material nature. Ah, nice. Any practical realizations? कभी हुआ है किसी को modes of material nature का? Have you ever had practical realization of the modes of material nature?
When it comes to chanting now, like if I'm doing it towards the night, it's just to complete it. Actually. But when it starts in the morning, it comes to part the day really goes very well, and then you realize, oh, there's so much of time actually, you have during the day.
Yeah.
So then that's one that can relate to, and definitely prasadam.
Okay.
If it's not offered, for me, it just doesn't. It just doesn't.
Fair enough. Yeah. Any other realization of the modes of material nature acting on us? Every moment. Wow. How? Give me an example.
So ignorance just impels us to be like lazy. Although specifically when we have time in the day, instead of utilizing it in Krishna conscious way, we tend to be lazy and procrastinate, not read if we have the time to read. That is ignorance. Passion drives us. So when you're describing about your job profile, how you trick people into it. I was thinking, yes, I'm that one victim who gets tricked into looking at products or things that that's like passion.
Yeah.
I tend to think that this will make us happy, but
Or this is compulsory for us to have. There's a whole science behind it. So I think Prabhupada says in one of his descriptions of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he says that we are all trying to exploit the modes of material nature, but we are getting more and more entangled in its complexities, Prabhupada says. So that's happening with us all the time. We are constantly getting entangled in the complexities of modes of material nature. Personally, I don't know how many of your Apple people here, but there was the Apple event in recently mid-September, and they launched the Apple iPhone 14. It's useless. Literally. I mean, so because I also work in UX, I can tell you, which other people will know, that the only thing they've changed is one little button on top. They've created something called the floating island. It's a UX thing, and all people who are experts in UX have said that it is useless. That it's only a visual change, nothing else configuration-wise. It is by and large the same. Yet I keep thinking about going to Apple front. एक बार देख तो लो कैसा है. I personally tend to like Apple products. That's my I mean, yeah. So yeah. I mean, I genuinely think it's going to make my life better. So when I'm playing a lecture, for example, and then so the beauty of this, as when we come to devotional life, we find excuses to Krishna conscious, make our afflictions Krishna conscious. So, for example, I'll tell you how I tell myself and how the mode of material nature I realize is acting on me is when I see a new product like the Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max, highest version है वो उन्होंने दिया है ऐसा ऊपर. And in that, if you're playing a file, you'll see the file playing, you'll see the thing, and you'll see how much time is left. And I think, it's good for me because when I'm listening to a lecture, I can see कि कितना time बाकी है. अगर 2-3 minute बाकी है, I can, maybe continue listening to it for longer. I have the same feature on the current phone. I just to press a button, but this is how I'm telling myself that it's okay to be afflicted by the mode of passion because I can use it in Krishna's service. So, but what other realizations in terms of modes of material nature? Vijay Madhav, huh?
Like to surrender to Krishna.
Yeah.
And material influence will be overcome.
If you surrender to Krishna, material, yeah.
Overcome.
Versus radiation in the mind.
Nice. So if we surrender to Krishna, then our affliction of the mode of material nature will be overcome.
And in the initial lecture, we also discussed that today's life value system is not there. It is not people can.
Yes.
That there is no value of things, relationships in today's world.
Yes. All right. Vijay Madhav was raising his hand.
Yes. So two aspects where I feel it comes out the most, at least in my case. So when it's time to give feedback to anyone, so the mode of passion like comes jumping, saying that isko to acha feedback denge. Then you have to calm down the mind. No. Right. So you have to then somehow the other force mode of goodness so that it's beneficial, etc. Like that. That's one. And second, I think big yatras like we are just experiencing right now. So that's like a real test of one's patience and tolerance. So mode of nature kind of comes out.
I think a lot of devotees' mode of passion comes out prasadam line mein.
Yeah. Exactly. I did not spell it out. You basically spelled it out.
No, because generally for even for so abhi Damodar month is going to start now, October 9th onwards. So they distribute lamps, to everyone. And my mode of passion comes jumping out then because I feel, for some reason I feel very entitled कि मैं बाकी सब तो बाहर से लोग आए हैं लाइन में लगने दो, मैं तो मंदिर में सेवा करता हूँ और मैं मतलब इतने सालों से सीनियर डिवोटी तो मेरे को लाइन काट करके आगे जाके लैंप लेने दो. That is my mode of passion. मेरे को बहुत ignorance है actually, passion नहीं तो ignorance है, घोर ignorance है वो. So it's interesting that even in a place like the temple, right in front of Radha Ras Bihari, because we're not surrendered to the Lord, the mode of ignorance is acting on us there in front of Radha Ras Bihari. So what do we do? What did we discuss about? What do we do to try to avoid this the afflictions of the modes?
So versus discussing surrender, we discussed a little bit about what is surrender, what does it mean. We went on to say that surrender is basically surrendering to Krishna's instructions, Guru's instructions. If following that, then we'll be able to avoid.
Hare Krishna.
Some time out for yourself is very essential.
Okay.
This is what I believe in, like as you mentioned, like this will be Damodar Ashtakam Aarti. So morning after the prayers, after your chanting, I would prefer spending some time with myself that I know I'm weak, what I have to work on, what's going to come, which you're sure what's going to come. So there I usually would take a step back and just think.
Okay. All right. Anyone else on Zoom who has some realizations or some learnings to share from last class about the mode of material nature and how we might overcome them?
Bol.
Hare Krishna. I want to share about eating, honoring prasadam. So I was just sharing with Prabhuji that, I need to change this sentence that let's eat food. So I told him, let's honor prasadam. Like that, we won't really indulge and look at food as food. We'll see it as prasadam. And prasadam ke naam pe, there's overindulgence, which is also mode of passion and ignorance. And so ideally Mangla Aarti should be priority. But then, because of overindulgence in food, in prasadam, we cannot attend Mangla Aarti. So that's something where I'm working on myself.
My counter question to everybody on that is that isn't prasadam sanctified food? It is the mercy of Krishna itself. So how can it be problematic?
Overeating?
No, he's putting a question to everyone.
So the question is that so Mataji is saying that जो प्रसाद होता है वो भी 3 मोड में आता है, मोड ऑफ पैशन, मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस, मोड ऑफ गुडनेस. तो अगर हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा अत्याहार करते हैं, if we eat too much, if we eat too spicy, if we overindulge in the name of प्रसाद, कि ये तो कृष्ण का प्रसाद है, जितना चाहिए खा सकते हैं, फिर वो अगले दिन मंगला आरती में उठने से बाधा करता है. We can't get up in the morning early, we can't chant. It's a very real problem. So my counter question to that, and I just want to understand from everyone, what is your understanding of this? Because we know that Krishna Prasadam is non-different from Krishna. It's the same as Krishna. So then, how can it cause problems like this? How can it get in the way of our getting up a Mangal Aarti or serving?
It depends on the consciousness that you honor prasadam with. If you're just taking it, it's a lot of variety, and let me just, work it down, then no. But if you take it as, as you mentioned, Krishna is non-different from, prasadam is non-different from Krishna. And Krishna is above all the modes, he's transcendental. So I think when we really honor that consciousness, I'm just assuming,
No, but this is a discussion. I don't know the answer. There is no correct answer.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of
so
like I'm trying to
certain
understand.
celebrations, I've realized that there is a need that you want to eat a lot, but actually you cannot, because even that little knowing that it is Krishna, that he's going within you, you're full.
Okay.
And so consciousness is one aspect.
Any points of view on this? On eating correctly in Krishna consciousness?
I don't know that if we are eating prasadam also for gratifying our senses, then I think it's a wrong mode of eating. But if we may not be eating bitter gourd otherwise, but if it's prasadam, it's prasadam, I will eat it, then that mode is
Nice. So Mataji is saying, for those on Zoom, Mataji is saying that yeah, exactly. Vijayamata said, "Ye yatha mam padyante." As we approach Krishna, he rewards us accordingly. So Mataji is also saying the same thing, that if you eat it from a point of view of satisfying your senses, that I'm going to eat this for myself, and I'm going to offer Krishna palak paneer today because it's my favorite item. And then we eat that prasadam, then it's really one really thinks about it. Is it prasad or is it my bhog that I want to enjoy? I think my realization on this, just to add to Harshamada's point, is that yes, in a very big way, it is a consciousness which you prepare and offer. And that being said, I think it's also important to live with the realization that we are the material body. Like we live in this material body. We are bound by its rules. We are bound by its. There is a system in which we exist, right? So for me personally, for example, I am someone who suffers a lot from colds. People who have a lot of cold cannot drink a lot of milk. But Krishna likes a lot of milk, right? Krishna is from the atmosphere of Vrindavan. He likes dahi, makhan, milk, rabdi. And at home, we offer all these things to the Lord in copious quantities. But I'm very clear that while that is Krishna in that form may not be suitable for me, because I exist in a certain kind of body, and therefore I have to understand. See, that it's very important to have this consciousness to realize that prasadam when it is offered to Krishna, it is sanctified. It is Krishna himself. That form of Krishna may or may not be suited to me. That does not make the prasadam fault. That does not make the prasadam in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of passion, in the mode of goodness. When you are cooking, your mentality, your point of view, how you cook will impact the nature of the food itself. But the minute it gets offered, then it is above these three modes. We have to understand this. There is no question about it. Yes, it may not be suited. We may not be able to appreciate it. So we may choose to avoid it. We may choose to take less of it. We may choose to not take it. For example, in Radha Ras Pyari also here, on Ekadashi day, we offer rice. We offer dal because the Lord eats. The Lord doesn't need to fast. No, he eats full meal. Dal, chawal, sabji, everything. Halwa. And for the cook, it's quite austere because when you cook on Ekadashi, it is very austere for us afterwards because we know कि घर जाके कुछ पकाना पड़ेगा. But the fact of the matter is that that's prasadam. But if on Ekadashi someone comes and offers you Radha Ras Pyari's Rajvog Khichdi, what do you do? Can't take it. No? It's prasadam. So technically, your fast will not break. Technically. But because we are living under certain conditions, the conditioning, we accept it. We put our hand on it, put our head. Maybe we take a little parcel back home to take on the next day in the morning to break our fast. But we cannot accept it. So that is my understanding on prasadam, and that the prasadam doesn't exist in the modes of nature. The food we cook to offer until it is on the Lord's plate is in some mode or the other. After that, it becomes a matter of just not it's prasadam, it's Krishna himself. Just that form may or may not suit me. Even in that condition, what Mataji was saying and what Vijayanath Prabhu was saying here, that if we still can accept, if we are truly that surrendered, कि ये Krishna Prasad ही है. This is, accepting this form of Krishna is going to be good for my Krishna consciousness, and we take it. And we are truly that surrendered, then Mangalarati pe uth bhi jayenge. It's really a matter of, so this material world, it's like a tightrope walk. We're constantly sort of walking on this tightrope of saying that on the one hand, I'm existing this body and I have to manage the body and its requirements and its needs and the rules in which I live. On the other hand, I have to also understand, Krishna consciousness and what is important. I think as devotees, we're all struggling with that. And the modes of nature don't necessarily help us. But then as devotees are very intelligent, devotees are the most intelligent, we have to sort of also understand how to use these modes in Krishna's service. So there is the mode of goodness, there is the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance. Like Mataji was saying, chanting in the morning, mode of goodness, best time to chant, best time to read, best time to use the mind in Krishna's service. But दोपहर के बाद क्या करोगे जब mode of passion takes over? तब क्या भक्त लोग सो जाते हैं क्या? What do devotees do? When the mode of passion जब प्रबल होता है सबसे दिन में उस समय पे, तब भक्त क्या करते हैं? Surely devotees don't go to sleep कि अच्छा हम लोग 4 से ऐसे 8, 9, 10, 11 लेटेस्ट तक अपना काम धाम करके फिर 12 बजे से लेकर 4 बजे 3 बजे तक सो जाएंगे. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है ना. तो devotees कैसे मैनेज करते हैं? क्या करना चाहिए हमें devotees? जब mode of passion प्रबल है, जब mode of ignorance प्रबल है.
Devotees can share their knowledge with other people who are unaware of the concept.
Okay.
Krishna consciousness.
Right. When?
During the daytime.
In the daytime. Okay.
In
Nice.
ignorance time, you can be submissive, and you can learn, you can read,
Okay.
you can choose.
Okay.
But then, we are just doing it for ourselves. Don't you think that is kind of selfish?
Which one?
Like just listening and praying and doing it for just our own soul and for ourselves. I feel that is kind of selfish.
Okay.
Because we are just keeping it to ourselves.
Okay.
Rather than giving that knowledge or trying to awake the Krishna consciousness of the other.
Correct. So therefore, what should we do? What is your suggestion?
Like we should share the knowledge what we have,
Okay.
try to make the people understand and at least come up with this thinking that there is something about us who is looking after us and how we should come out of all this. we should maybe tell them about the three modes because first they might be ignoring that part.
Thanks. Yeah, that's a good point. So, anyone on Zoom is very silent. This is always the case. So, are the devotees actually listening or are they doing like? Because generally, when I'm on Zoom and I'm on mute, I'm generally doing something else.
So hi, this is Preeti,
Hi.
and we are absolutely with you and not doing anything else.
I really appreciate that. I don't know how it's very difficult to do that, you know.
Yeah, no, but I think at least I'm talking about myself, and I'm really enjoying this class. I think I've come back after a long time. I've been, some issues, but I'm very happy that I'm here today. And I just wanted to share with you since you asked. So I have not attended last class, but I just want to add my meaning here that it's been 8-9 months that I joined this class. I think then. I'm just trying only one thing, and that is I'm trying to be very regular with my chanting. And I think I'm very happy about it that I have progressed in a sense that it's been almost 60 days or 70 days. I have not missed my chanting. Even if I decided that I'm going to do one round, I do it at any point of the day, even if I'm traveling, tired. And yesterday I was telling my sister that I'm so happy about it, that, I've been chanting regularly. So I think that is one thing. And how does that help when I'm struggling? Or the question you asked is that I actually sometimes ask myself, what would Krishna want me to do in this moment? And yesterday, and I'm just giving an example, my sister was telling me, and I don't know, मैंने ऐसा सोचा नहीं था मैं बोलूंगी, पर पता नहीं मेरे मुंह से कैसे निकल गई ये बात. And I said, नहीं, my sister's name is Deepti. I said, तुझे वही करना चाहिए जो सही है, क्योंकि जब आप धर्म फॉलो करते हो तो कृष्णा साथ होते हैं. पता नहीं कैसे निकला, it was very strange. कि Krishna, where dharma is, Krishna is. So I think you should do the right thing. So in a way, I'm not sharing with her Gita Gyan or something, but I think that connect with Krishna, I feel is kind of now a little better than when I joined. And I think that's what I do, and I'm happy about it because I think it's helping me. And I ask myself and I remind myself, and sometimes at night when I'm praying, it may sound silly, but I may have those conversations with Krishna where I say, "Bhai, this is the problem. Please, batao kya karna chahiye abhi?" Yeah, and I was laughing about it when we were talking about senses. So, yes, I'm also, when it comes to food, I think it's a big challenge. So I kind of say that, okay, help me to overcome these senses. So I think I'm trying to have this conversation with Krishna at times. I ask myself these questions: what would Krishna want me to do? And I do reflect on situations that what could I have done differently if it didn't go that well. So I think this is kind of helping me.
Very good. Yeah, I think that's, Preeti Mataji, what you said, I think that's a really good example of how we can use the mode of passion in Krishna's service. Really, why? Because, the mode of passion basically drives us. It's a mode that drives us to get things done. Sometimes when all else fails, I'm talking about myself, when it comes to chanting specifically, there are days that I'm extremely tired. Festival days especially, because my festival days start early because I'm in the altar the whole day. So they start very, very early and they end very, very late. And for people who are on the altar serving on festival days, it's very difficult to take time out to chant. बहुत हड़बड़ होता है. So जब mode of ignorance, and then if you get time only around 10 o'clock, altar बंद हो जाता है, भगवान का शयन हो गया, उसके बाद you realize that okay now तो 10 माला बाकी है, पूरे दिन में 16 हुई है, बाकी 10 है, अब क्या करेंगे? And 10 rounds is easily like a job of 1 hour 20 minutes आसपास तो लगने वाला है. And at that one time, you really just want to take a hot shower and go to sleep. That is when the mode of passion comes in handy, because then you sort of challenge yourself. You use that sense of aggression, that sense of, you tap into that competition with yourself. Ki, nahi, chalo, let's do this. How can you not chant? I mean, you have to do what it takes to, to chant, I think. And what Prithviraj was saying, I think that's a good point. That's another thing that Prithviraj talked about was discernment. She said, I asked myself, what did Krishna want me to do? I think that's a very good quality of the mode of goodness actually. जो सत्व गुण होता है, उसका एक quality होता है discernment. to be able to differentiate between what is wrong and what is right, and use intelligence to make that choice. And I think it was a great realization, I think, to ask ourselves whether we're able to, are we acting as per dharma, are we acting as per Bhagavad Gita, or are we not? And if we can tap into that, that's a really great way to make decisions in our life. So at any given point of time, if we feel that we're too misguided, we're going in the wrong direction, or we just feel unsure, having the yardstick of saying that what would Krishna want me to do, what would Bhagavad Gita, advise me to do, I think that's a great realization. Thank you, Preeti Maharaj.
So, but why do we have to limit ourselves to the manas? Why can't we, like, even if I'm here talking to you, I'm reciting it, because it is going back there. So,
have you ever tried to lose weight?
Lose weight.
Huh.
I'm not thought about it.
I'll tell you. So I'm someone who's struggled with weight my entire life. Who else has tried to lose weight here? Been on a plan, gone to the gym, gone to a trainer.
Yes.
You've done it? Okay, great. So then I think you understand. I've done it throughout my life. I constantly go between these little things, okay? So for someone who's trying to lose weight, okay, one of the best ways to lose weight is calorie control. Because there's a certain amount of energy you need in the day. 2000 calories का जरूरत होता है मेरे जैसे इंसान को. And मैं अगर उससे कुछ भी कम खा रहा हूँ, तो 2000 कैलोरी स्पेंड तो होंगी, मैं 1500 खाऊंगा तो मेरा 500 का डेफिसिट होगा, वो डेफिसिट बढ़ के मेरा वेट कम हो जाएगा, ठीक है? दैट्स अ ब्रॉड फ्रेमवर्क. अब एक नया उसमें आइडिया है आजकल, which is called intuitive eating. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It is basically that thought frame of mind that tells you कि as a person you know कि आपको कितने की जरूरत है, तो आप उतना ही खाओ और आपका वेट कम हो जाएगा, ऑटोमेटिकली बैलेंस हो जाएगा, ठीक है? It was an idea, and most people who are scientists have completely rubbished the idea. They said because intuitive eating वही लोग कर सकते हैं जिनको आइडिया होगा कि handful of बादाम for breakfast could mean my handful is easily 15 बादाम, and a handful of बादाम, what is suggested intuitively, एक हाथ बादाम खा लो, is 6 to 8 बादाम. बादाम is such a calorie heavy food that 5 और 20 के अंदर बहुत कैलोरीज बढ़ जाते हैं. बट जिसको पता नहीं होगा वो तो 20 बादाम खा के फिर बोलेगा ये तो इंट्यूटिवली चल ही नहीं रहा है, क्या बकवास है. So to borrow from that into chanting, okay, why is it important that we restrict ourselves to malas? We don't restrict ourselves to malas. We don't. But the reason why the malas are there is for those people who cannot intuitively chant in their mind all the time. जो नहीं कर सकते हैं उनके लिए जरूरी है कि कम से कम 16 माला जो है वो बीट्स पे करें. बिकॉज एक वो मिनिमम हम लोग एक कमिटमेंट, मिनिमम कोटा कर रहे हैं that this is how much I'm going to chant for sure. And I'm sure, I mean, it happens with me and I'm sure it happens to a lot of us, that even when we're chanting on our beats, we find कि हम attentively chant नहीं करते. Because beats पे करते mind 10 चीजें, because our senses are very powerful, no? We have eyes, we have the nose, we have the ears, and this world is so beautiful that Krishna has created. There are 1,000 things to see. When you're chanting on beats and you see something very beautiful, whatever your interest may be, will your eyes not go there? अगर बहुत सुंदर कुछ खुशबू आएगी, नाक सूंघेगा नहीं क्या उसको? And सिर्फ वहां पे खत्म नहीं होता है. The mind is very intimately connected to the senses. तो अगर कुछ खुशबू आती है किसी चीज की, जैसे राई का तड़का लगा घर पे, तो the mind is immediately thinking of aloo vada. It's happening, and at least it happens for all of us. I know it happens for me. It's a very real thing. And then while I'm chanting and my beads are moving, I'm eating aloo vada in my head. It happens. I'm sure सबको होता होगा ना. So from that perspective, जब beats पे chant करना इतना मुश्किल होता है ध्यान से, तो mind में 24 hours chant करना तो और भी मुश्किल होता होगा. Attentively बोल रहा हूँ मैं. Chanting की 2 definitions है, right? एक है कि हम भगवान का नाम सततम ले रहे हैं. क्या हम उस नाम को ध्यान से ले रहे हैं कि नहीं, वो भी हमें वो देना चाहिए. जो constantly, intuitively हम लोग chant करते हैं mind में, जो कि करना चाहिए. We have to also assess, and हमारी भक्ति के assessors हम खुद, मतलब we are quite good assessment of हमारा सच क्या है ना. वो और लोग तो फिर बाद में assess करते हैं. अपने आप को हम खुद assess हमें करना चाहिए कि अगर मैं mind में chant कर पा रहा हूँ 24 hours, 2 hours 3 hours जो भी है, और मैं अच्छे से कर पा रहा हूँ और कंसिस्टेंटली कर पा रहा हूँ डे ऑन डे, then I think that's a good process to follow. Our acharyas have suggested that we use the beads because वो intuitively chant करना ध्यान से अच्छे से वो लोग कर तो लेते हैं, but it depends from day to day, week to week, month to month फर्क पड़ता है on our own situation. With the beads also अगर हम लोग इसका फिर काउंटर आ सकता है कि with the beads भी अगर हम attentively chant नहीं करें तो point क्या है, फिर तो एक ही है ना. With the beads कम से कम अपना sense of embarrassment तो आ जाता है ना, आलूड़ा खा के वापस आ जाते हैं जब माइंड में चैंट करते हैं, क्योंकि हाथ देखिए बीट्स में क्या होता है, आपके जो सेंस ऑफ टच है वो एंगेज है, ईयर्स एंगेज है, माउथ, ये 3 सेंसेस तो एंगेज है ही हैं. अब नाक कान को तो बंद नहीं कर सकते, वो चलने दो, चलो अपनी वो रास्ते पे चलेगा, लेकिन बाकी 3 सेंसेस अगर चल रही हैं कम से कम देयर इज अ चांस दैट वी माइट कम बैक होपफुली बाय कृष्णा मर्सी. और कुछ नहीं तो वो माला पूरा हम लोग आलूबड़ा खा के खत्म करेंगे, तो जब वो एंड में आता है ना जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, वहां पे आके कभी अरे यार माला खत्म हो गई है, मैं तो मतलब ध्यान ही नहीं दिया, तो कम से कम अगली माला के फर्स्ट 8 9 10 बीट्स हम अच्छे से करेंगे, फिर पाव खाने चले जाएंगे. लेकिन पॉइंट इज आलूबड़ा खा के पाव चाहिए ना, फिर चटनी चाहिए होगा, तो वो क्रम से चलता है ना सब चीज, वी नीड इट. बट माय ओनली पॉइंट टू दैट इज, should we chant in the mind? Yes. Should we chant all the time? Yes, we should. But niyamit tarike se we can chant on beats. It just helps to channelize and make it more consistent. And consistency is key, whether you're losing weight or whether you're trying to achieve Krishna. That's why we chant on beats. But there is no limitation कि beats पे chant करना है, उस पर लटका दिया थैली तो उसके बाद खत्म. दूसरी बात ये भी है कि अगर हम consistently chanting करते रहते हैं beats पे, तो उसका आफ्टर इफेक्ट और ज्यादा चलता है, बिकॉज हमने उसको एक मैंडेट कर दिया है उस चीज को. कुछ एनी पॉइंट्स, एनी थॉट्स ऑन दिस?
If it is my day-to-day habit of, like even if I'm talking right now with you, I'm just chanting. It's going there. It's not stopping.
Yes, but what are you doing? Are you talking to me or are you chanting?
I'm talking to you, but it is going.
But what is the active? Where is your mind engaged?
My mind is completely engaged with Krishna.
Okay.
It is there. I am connected there, but I'm talking to you. I'm trying to understand your perspective. Like from a third person's perspective, things look different. So that way, I'm trying to understand.
So I mean, while this is a good process, generally what Shastra and Acharya says is that generally the mind can focus on one thing at a time. Generally. I mean, that's just how it is. Or we focus on 2 things at a time, but we can't really focus on 2 things at the same time. So when we're, like, for example, when we're having an active conversation, you're speaking with me, also listening to what I'm saying. The chanting is going in the background, but if you're just focusing on the chanting, then you may not be able to listen to what I'm saying properly. If you're being able to listen to what I'm saying, are you being able to really focus on the chanting, or is it going on in the background like a tape recorder?
Going there.
But so is it passive or is it active? Actively going on is not active. Actively doing something is active.
But if it is connected to Krishna, then it won't be considered as Krishna.
It is considered Krishna consciousness for sure. But the question here comes that how much am I doing and how much of it is the default mode? See, a lot of times, because we may have the fortune of being with devotees a lot. We may have the fortune of growing up amongst devotees. A lot of people are there who grow up amongst devotees, है ना? तो उनकी पूरी भाषा, वेशभूषा, सब कुछ कृष्णमय ही होती है, almost automatically, ठीक है? And वो कृष्णा की बहुत बड़ी मर्जी है. But अगर वो सब है, ठीक है, लेकिन मैं एक्टिवली कृष्ण के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहा, एक्टिवली नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं, तो क्या उसको कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस कहेंगे? क्या उसको भक्ति कहेंगे कि नहीं? दिस इज, आई थिंक दैट्स द डिफरेंस. देयर इज कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस एंड देन देयर इज भक्ति. ठीक है, कृष्णा कॉन्शियस रहना is something that we want to do for ourselves, that I'm in Krishna's service. Actively doing something for Krishna, that is bhakti. So
How to quantify that?
You can't quantify it. The chanting on beats is not quantifying bhakti हम लोग कितनी कर रहे हैं.
Actively serving for Krishna.
Yes.
How to quantify that?
That is actually the topic of today's lecture. Actually, it was supposed to be. So, a life in service of Krishna. We have to ask ourselves, what can we do for Krishna actively, and see if we can engage ourselves doing that. At the very base level, chanting, for example, is a very big service for Krishna, right? Actively करना उसको कि मैंने अब 2 घंटे मैं और कुछ नहीं करूंगा, सिर्फ chanting करूंगा. It's a very big sacrifice, right? I'm sacrificing what I could have done. I could have done so many things in those 2 hours, right? I'm sacrificing that time only to chant. That is bhakti. If I decide that I'm going to cook some very nice food stuff and offer to Krishna, like Mataji was saying, I'm going to make Karela for Krishna because I may not like it, but I know that maybe some devotees are coming to my house. I want to serve Krishna's devotees, and unfortunately, that devotee likes Karela and not something I like. But I'm still going to make. I'm going to sacrifice my time. I'm going to sacrifice my personal interest. I'm going to cook for Krishna and his devotees and serve him. That is service. And service may not have a third person involved. Service अपने लिए भी आप पूछे थे ना कि selfish तो नहीं होता, नहीं selfish नहीं होता है. अपने लिए भी कि मैं और कुछ कर सकता था. अब मैं आज सुबह को जल्दी उठ के अपना 20-30 ईमेल खत्म कर सकता था ताकि मेरी शाम फ्री हो जाए ऑफिस. लेकिन आई डिसाइड कि मुझे उस दिन बैठ के भागवतम पढ़ना है. That is actively serving Krishna. Where I'm using time, effort, senses, I'm engaging all these things without doing something else, and I am sacrificing something else I could have done. That is active service. And it's nice, it works because Krishna sees that, Krishna sees that there is some active involvement from the devotee. Krishna consciousness is not a very, it's not a very armchair movement, to be honest. Bhakti जो है ना, प्रभुपाद जी का जो definition of भक्ति है, वो devotional service है, devotion नहीं है. तो बहुत लोगों से अगर पूछोगे कि भक्ति की परिभाषा क्या है, वो कहेंगे डिवोशन. किसी के प्रति प्रेम होना, प्रीति होना, आकर्षण होना, भक्ति है वो. प्रभुपाद के हिसाब से या रूप गोस्वामी के हिसाब से दैट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट. बट अगर आपको किसी के साथ प्रेम है, आकर्षण है, एक्टिव अटैचमेंट है किसी के साथ, आप कुछ तो करोगे ना. वो अगर आपके साथ कोई आपका बहुत प्रिय मित्र है, बैठा हुआ है, फ्रेंड है कोई, you will talk to them, no? You will not just sit with your best friend and not do anything. Or your best friend comes to you, एक गिलास पानी तो पूछ ही लेते हैं ना हम लोग, भाई पानी पिएगा, खाना खाएगा, अच्छा आज मैं तेरे लिए तेरी फेवरेट चीज लाया. जब हमारे पेरेंट्स के साथ रिलेशन होते तो पेरेंट्स करते ना हमारे लिए ऐसी चीजें. जब आई नो व्हेन आई वाज अ चाइल्ड, मेरे को पेन्स का बहुत शौक था, तो पापा हर वीकेंड को पेन लेके आते थे नया. सस्ती चीज थी, कोई महंगी नहीं, बॉल पेन, बट वो एक रिलेशनशिप हो गया था. दैट वाज आवर लविंग रेसिप्रोकेशन कि मेरे पापा पेन लाते थे और मैं उनके बिल्स को साइन करता था टीचर को. आई वांटेड टू बी अ टीचर, आई वांटेड टू डू दैट, एंड दैट वाज आवर लविंग एक्सचेंज. सो एक्टिवली द devotion, basically bhakti is active service. It is, I know who you are, I understand what you like, and therefore because I love you, I do something for you. And even in doing that, अगर मेरा कुछ घट रहा है तो मेरे को चलता है, because तुम्हारे लिए कर रहा हूँ ना, चलेगा, कुछ घटा तो नहीं. That is active devotional service. So we have to find ways to do that, and there are many ways to do it. The entire Bhagavatam is just more and more examples of service, and we'll find opportunities to serve. That's a different conversation. But to understand that to do bhakti means to actively serve. And one of the things that you were saying कि प्रचार करना है, we should talk about Krishna consciousness to people. That is also a very important service. In fact, Krishna says that is the dearest service someone can do for him. But वहां पे फिर यही आ जाता है, फ्लाइट में सब बैठे होंगे, अपना मास्क पहले लगाइए, फिर बाजू वाले को हेल्प कीजिए, तो वो चक्कर है. प्रचार का भी वही सीन है, पहले अपने आप को प्रचार करेंगे, थोड़ा भक्ति में थोड़ा बहुत सेटअप हो जाए, फिर प्रचार करेंगे तो ज्यादा इफेक्टिव होता है. नहीं तो क्या होता है ना, वो बहुत ऐसे हल्का हो जाता है. If I tell you to do things that I'm not doing, like if I go and give a lecture, what benefits of healthy eating? No one's going to listen to me. It won't work. Similarly in bhakti also, प्रचार करना बहुत जरूरी है. And कभी-कभी प्रचार करते-करते अपना एक्टिविटी भी ठीक हो जाता है, because वो embarrassment होता है कि मैं प्रचार करने जा रहा हूं, I should also do this. But at the same time, it sort of works both ways. We have to be able to achieve a certain standard in our own devotion before we preach. But assisting preaching, doing preaching, very critical. One of the most important services. We should do it. I was missing Vijayamada Prabhu's comments. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana TV. Yes, it's a kitchen religion. Okay. Vijayamada Prabhu, I'm sorry I missed your comments.
Yeah, all your examples were like vada, pav, all of those.
Yes. Totally. We're a kitchen religion. It's true. It's true. So, Prabhupada used to say that we will eat our way back to God. Prabhupada. Yeah, Prabhupada bullets. So, yeah, and then Preeti, you said passive. I'm sorry. What was the context in which you said passive?
No, you were talking about, that if we are not consciously doing it, meaning that I'm chanting, but I'm not there. So I was answering that yes, that's passive. So active is, slightly, active is when you're there only.
Yeah. When you're actively engaged. Okay, so that's, I think that's a very long discussion on the last class. We're at 1:30. What time do we finish lecture generally? 1:40. So I have 6 minutes for the next. Sure?
That's actually great now.
No, maybe put me under misery and let me not speak further.
You can go on for half an hour at least.
10 minutes.
Take up to you.
So the point of the class was to talk about service. A life in service. What does that mean? And why is it important? So I think it's important because very clearly in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that Jivara Sarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Das. I'm sure we've heard this before, that the Jivatma, the who we are, the soul, Nitya Sarupa, uska eternal placement is Krishnera Das. We are the servant of Krishna. अब हमारे सबके घर पे सर्वेंट तो होंगे ना, वो अगर अपने घर पे आके जस्ट बैठ जाएंगे ऐसा तो चलेगा क्या? नहीं चलेगा. सर्वेंट क्या करते हैं? What they're hired to do, they do. झाड़ू कटका, बर्तन, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे चीज चोरी करके जाएंगे. Whatever, part of the job role, to do something. So as servants of Krishna, we also have to do something. What do servants do? They serve. ठीक है. अब सर्विस का ये बात है ना कि we are all constantly serving someone or the other. अगर हमने हमारी लाइफ को टटोलोगे ना, आप देखो अपने बच्चों की सेवा कर रहे हैं. You're doing it out of love. You may be doing it out of responsibility, but you're doing it. You might be serving your boss in office. Is attending Bhagavad Gita lecture also a service? If you're actively listening, it is a service. Absolutely, we'll come to that. Thank you. Very good question. But yeah, I think we are serving somebody. We are serving our bosses in office. We are serving our parents. We are serving society. And when I'm saying serving society, even if you're not doing any NGO social service type situation, हम लोग ढंग से कपड़े पहन के निकलते हैं, ऐसे शॉर्ट टी शर्ट में निकल नहीं जाते हैं रास्ते में ना, वो भी सर्विस टू सोसाइटी है ना, बिकॉज हम सोसाइटल नियम के अंदर चल रहे हैं. हम लोग ऑटो पे बैठे तो ऑटो को पैसे देते हैं. देयर इज सम सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स दैट आर सेट अप दैट वी आर फॉलोइंग. दैट इज अ सर्विस. So if you were to sit and examine your life, at each point, your existence is basically service. Because that's what you were meant to do. We may be doing it, we may not realize that we are serving somebody, we may not feel कि अरे ये क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग. But अगर हम लोग actually उसको examine करेंगे, हम लोग serve कर रहे हैं. At any given point, we're doing some service. Now the point of Bhagavad Gita on this is that because Krishna is everything, at all points, we are one way or the other serving Krishna. So now, if you're anyway serving Krishna one way or the other, why don't we directly serve him, then indirectly serve him? I can go into great detail as to why doing our daily duties is serving Krishna. But I'm sure we will come to that when we talk about Bhagavad later on. But net point is कि अगर हम लोग सर्विस कर ही रहे हैं तो कृष्णा की हम लोग डायरेक्ट सेवा क्यों नहीं कर लेते? अब कृष्णा की अगर डायरेक्ट सेवा करनी है तो कैसे करें, जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था, कैसे कर सकते हैं? तो अब कृष्णा ने, क्योंकि इतने अच्छे हैं कृष्णा, वो चाहते हैं कि हम उनको सर्व करें, उन्होंने इतने सारे तरीके बनाए हमें उनके सर्व करने के लिए, बिकॉज ही वांट्स अस टू सर्व हिम, ही वांट्स दैट we would rather serve him than serve other people. So because of that, there are 9 processes of devotional service that Bhagavatam talks about. आपने सबने सुना होगा ना, नवविधा भक्ति डिस्कस हुआ है क्लास में? हाँ?
We started this with the kids, Shravanam Kirtanam.
We did?
With the kids class.
We started it? Yeah. So first, one of the most important ways to serve Krishna is Shravana. We hear Krishna's name, we hear Krishna's glories. So Pallavi Mataji, from that perspective, attending Bhagavad Gita, when we are sitting together and glorifying Krishna, that is a service, because हमने अपने टाइम को और कहीं से हटा करके यहाँ पे लाया और हम कृष्णा के बारे में सुन रहे हैं, उनकी ग्लोरी सुन रहे हैं, उसमें एंगेज कर रहे हैं अपने आप को. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सर्विस. Each of these services has some examples also of people who have done this service really well. So Shravanam, who is it? Does anyone on Zoom know? His service ka example?
Shravanam, who is Shravanam? Who is Shravanam, you remember?
Yes. Maharaj Parikshit. Brilliant. So Maharaj Parikshit, do we all know the story of Maharaj Parikshit? So you should take these notes. These are all things we should be talking about. But Maharaj Parikshit basically was somebody who was given an ultimatum कि आपको सिर्फ 7 दिन है, उसमें आप मरने वाले हो. Exact end point 7 days है, मरने वाले हो. And he was very confused कि यार मैं क्या करूँ अब 7 दिन में. Imagine if you were told you have 7 days, 7 days के बाद game over. क्या करोगे?
Getting first bill बनेंगे.
हाँ, मैं तो अपना जो भी प्रॉपर्टी है, इंश्योरेंस है, वो सब बता दूंगा कि कौन सा पॉलिसी किधर है, क्या है, वो कर दूंगा. और 7 days. So then he asked all the sages. He wasn't like us, तब इंश्योरेंस का चक्कर नहीं था, वो सॉर्टेड था कि राजा है, राजा का राज बेटी को चला जाएगा, तो वो सब क्लियर था, टाइटल क्लियर था एकदम, कुछ था डिस्प्यूटेड प्रॉपर्टी वाला चक्कर नहीं था उनका, सिविल विल केस नहीं चल रहा था. तो he asked all the sages, he said कि अगर किसी को 7 ही दिन है, कोई अगर मृत्यु के कगार पे है, तो उसको क्या करना चाहिए? That was the question. And that question is very true for all of us also, technically. Why? You know, because the next 7 days could be our last days as well. We really don't know. We actually have no certainty that those 7 days will come 20 years later, 10 years later. These could be those 7 days. This could be the last day. So that question that Parikshit Maharaj asked is very, very relevant to all of us. The answer to that question, very simply, was said that the person who is, who has the last few days left of their life should engage themselves completely in only hearing and glorifying Krishna. And because that happened, that is why the entire Bhagavad was spoken. And Parikshit Maharaj sat for the 7 days and heard only. उन्होंने कुछ खाया नहीं, कुछ पिया नहीं, सोए नहीं, जागे नहीं, कुछ नहीं. He was wrapped in attention, listening to Srimad Bhagavatam for those 7 days. And that is how he achieved perfection. At the end of the 7 days, when his death came, he went straight back home, back to God immediately, because he had perfected the process of Shravan. So how can we serve Krishna? This is really easy. We can just actively listen the glories of Krishna. So that's one great way. Another interesting way to do Shravan is when we are chanting our rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. बहुत बार हम लोग वो करते बहुत सारी चीजें करते हैं, मैं भी करता हूँ. Because it's something we do every day and we do it for 2 hours a day, so for granted लेने के chances आ जाते हैं. It's human nature. It's not good, but it is what we do. But if we can actively listen to the words we are saying, to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, whether we are chanting out loud, whether we are chanting softly, if we can listen to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that is Shravanam. That is a very important service to do. So that's one kind of service we can do to the Lord. Next one is Kirtanam. Kirtanam is to chant the holy name of the Lord and to chant the glories of the Lord as well. Who perfected this? Zoom devotees, यहाँ पे. Do the kids know?
Yes. You remember Shravanam Kirtanam?
Kirtanam किस
Kirtanam we did? Kirtanam who did Kirtanam? Okay.
Prahlad Maharaj. Okay. For
That
example.
was Vishnu's.
Okay. Kirtanam. Any guesses on Kirtanam? Ananta Krishna Prem Prabhu saying Narad Muni. Also very good
Yes.
example. So we'll realize that actually ना इसमें बहुत overlaps होते हैं. भागवत में कुछ examples दिए हुए हैं, लेकिन ये ऐसी चीजें ना श्रवण कीर्तन की सारे devotees हमेशा करते ही रहते हैं. हरिदास ठाकुर ने किया है ना? So Haridas Thakur was constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord. Narad Muni is constantly singing the glory of the Lord. The beautiful song Narad Muni bajai bhi na Radhika Ramana. He's constantly singing and chanting the glory of the Lord. And Sukadev Goswami जिसने भागवत बोला परीक्षित महाराज को, एक सुनने वाले थे, एक बोलने वाले थे, तो जिनने भागवत बोला है 7 दिन continuous, no break. He is also a great example. So for us, Pallavi Mataji, just to take your point forward, attending Bhagavad Gita lecture service, yes. Speaking Bhagavad Gita lecture, discussing Bhagavad Gita with others, when we are preaching to others about Krishna, that is all Kirtanam. And Kirtan doesn't necessarily mean only the Lord's name, it also means the Lord's glories. So that's Kirtan. Then, Vishnu Smaranam, remembering the Lord constantly. भगवान को याद करना constantly. Even अगर मैं मंदिर में नहीं हूँ, even if मैं Krishna conscious situation में नहीं हूँ कहीं पे, I'm at work, I'm in the train, I'm in the metro, I'm in the auto, I'm in a meeting, I'm talking to people, I'm in a hospital, I'm in the washroom, it could be anywhere. There's so many things that, we cannot do when we are in these situations. We cannot do puja, we cannot do archana, we cannot loudly chant, conference में बैठे बैठे suddenly, अरे कृष्णा नहीं कर सकते, थोड़ा embarrassing हो सकता है. हुआ था एक बार मेरे साथ, सो गया था. I had fallen asleep. I was very tired. I had fallen asleep in a conference. Somebody woke me up. Oh Krishna! Like I was, it was a little embarrassing. So you can't do these things. Social convention में नहीं चलता है. कर सकते हैं, but you have to be completely, liberated for that. I am not. It was embarrassing for me. So many things you cannot do. But smaranam you can always do because your body might be in a certain situation, your tongue might not be able to say things, you will not be able to hear, but the mind is always free, no? So if we can, while chanting, we can go and roam so many places and come. So when we are in a material situation, why can't the mind roam to the lotus feet of Krishna? And to that, Mataji, what you were saying, that's a great idea. हम लोग जितना active devotional service करेंगे, उतना ही mind जो है, वो devotional service के बाद भी उसके बारे में सोचता रहेगा. एंड इसमें जो माताजी पॉइंट बता रहे थे कि सुबह को जो चैंटिंग होती है, दैट इज अमेजिंग बिकॉज हम लोग जो सुबह सुबह पहली चीज करते हैं वो दिन भर उसका असर रहता है. तो वी चैंट इन द मॉर्निंग, वी डू सम पूजा इन द मॉर्निंग, वी अटेंड अ भागवतम क्लास इन द मॉर्निंग, वी रीड वन वर्स ऑफ भागवतम इन द मॉर्निंग. That sort of imprints on our day. That becomes the way our entire day is going to be. So thinking about Krishna all the time is going to be another great way to. So when Prahlad Maharaj did this, Prahlad Maharaj's story I'm sure we've all heard of, where he was constantly remembering his Lord. So whether he was thrown off a cliff, he was trampled by elephants, he was tortured in so many ways by so many different people, he was always remembering Krishna. So that's Krishna Smaranam. Then, who knows the fourth one? Pada Sevana. Serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So इसमें ये होता है कि एक तो है कि डायरेक्टली भगवान के विग्रह की सेवा करना, that is Pada Sevana. To think about the lotus feet of the Lord, ये है. There's also serving the lotus, the devotees of the Lord is also by some Acharya's definition counted as Pada Seva. Because जो भगवान की जो चरण है, हमें हमेशा उनके devotees बैठे रहते हैं. So when we're serving the devotees of the Lord, that is also Pada Sevana. And if the devotees of the Lord are non-different, from when we're serving the devotees of the Lord, we're serving Krishna himself. So Pada Sevanam hai. And Lakshmi Devi is the example that is quoted as one of the people who does Pada Sevanam, because Jesus paintings, there's reclining Vishnu, there's Lakshmi Devi constantly at his feet. So Pada Sevanam. Then Archanam. भगवान के श्री मूर्ति श्री विग्रह की सेवा करना. अब उसमें भी हम लोग डायरेक्टली सेवा नहीं कर पाते होंगे बहुत बार. मंदिर में जैसे राधा रास सबको सेवा करने का डायरेक्टली चांस नहीं मिलता है, तो इनडायरेक्टली उनकी सेवा करना. जैसे माता जी जगन्नाथ मंदिर जाती हैं, she cannot cook for the Lord directly. She helps in cutting vegetables, cooking. She comes and cleans the kitchen. You know, there are Matajis who don't have time to go on the altar and serve Krishna, so they make gardens for Krishna. ये सब नहीं कर सकते मंदिर में, तो घर पे जब अपने ऑल्टर होता है उसमें सेवा करना, that is अर्चनम. And अर्चनम के एग्जाम्पल थे अम्बरीश महाराज. Yes. These are all great Bhagavatam examples. I've eaten up all my time in doing discussion. So these are all stories that we should hear from Vijayamada Prabhu. Vijayamada Prabhu, raise your hand.
So yeah, so I was just hearing this class which I shared also with you, and Prabhupada there he's mentioning Archanam. So he's saying, we know that the Lord is everywhere in every atom, etc., etc. And then he is like, where is your realization? Where is your realization? How will you realize? So
Correct.
Archanam is a process to start having that personal realization with the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. Archanam. Then Vandanam. Right? Vandanam is to sing out prayers that glorify the Lord. So many times we may pray to glorify the Lord, कि आप कितने अच्छे हैं, आप कितने सुंदर हैं. जैसे जय राधा माधव हमने डिस्कस किया था. That is a Vandana where we are just glorifying the Lord. Then there is also Vigyapti, where we are praying to the Lord for something. Because in the end of the day, as devotees, we are constantly dependent on the Lord. Okay? There are many things we will need in our lives. Many times we will not be realized enough to understand कि ये कर्म से आ जाएगा और छोड़ दो और all of that. नहीं होता है ना, कभी कभी चाहिए होती है चीज. And we need it and we know we are going to do something about it. So we may as well go to Krishna and ask for those things. And उसमें भी आचार्य ने बताया कि there is a way to do Vandana. We first glorify the Lord and then we pray to the Lord, asking for what we want, saying, my Lord, if you may so desire, if it may so please you, can you please give me good health? For example, a lot of devotees, they struggle with health problems, right? And because of health problems, they cannot come to Mangalarti, they can't chant, they can't, serve, they can't do a lot of things. And then a lot of devotees get stuck in that conundrum कि हम भगवान से अच्छी हेल्थ की प्रार्थना करें कि नहीं करें. करेंगे तो ये अपने बॉडी के लिए, अपने प्लेजर के लिए कर रहे हैं, मटेरियल चीज मांग रहे हैं भगवान से. On the other hand, Bhagavad says, well, sure, ये सब चीजें हैं, but in the end of the day, कहाँ से मांगोगे? There's a beautiful shloka in the Bhagavad, कामो सर्व कामो मोक्ष कामो दार, कि भगवान से ही मांगना है. आपको अगर मोक्ष की कामना है, अगर आपको मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में किसी चीज की कामना है, अगर आपको कोई भी कामना नहीं है, तो भी उसकी पूर्ति तो भगवान ही करने वाले हैं. This doesn't mean कि कॉन्स्टेंटली भगवान के सामने लॉन्ड्री लिस्ट लेके चले जाओ. But अगर हमें चाहिए, if that is the platform at which we are at, तो then वो भी कर सकते हैं, वो भी चलेगा. भगवान ने वो प्रोविजन बनाया है एंड वो भी डिवोशनल सर्विस है, एज लॉन्ग एज हम भगवान को ग्लोरीफाई कर रहे हैं. उससे पहले कि राधा रास बिहारी जी आप बहुत अच्छे सुंदर लग रहे हैं आज. आपने आज सबने दर्शन किए भगवान के? नहीं किए? ऊपर से? अरे यार, इससे कैसे? टाइमिंग थोड़ा सा लेट चेंज करो, 12:40 शुरू करो.
Yes, Prabhuji, because when I come now, the mandir is closed, and the moment we start our class, so
Why?
yes, we have to do it.
We will keep it a little, half an hour earlier now.
Half an hour, whatever you do, but they're coming to the temple, they should take darshan of Radha Rasa Bihari. What is the point of all of this otherwise?
Yes.
Yeah, like Radha Rasa Bihari today, they're wearing a very beautiful grapes dress. They're grapes on the outfit. So how I generally do Vandana, and it works. So it's not, I'm not saying it's a formula, but it's something that could be followed because some senior devotees instructed me in this. First, you go glorify the Lord. कि भगवान आप कितने अच्छे हैं, आप कितने जेन्युइनली, हाँ, ऐसा मस्का लगाने के लिए नहीं, जेन्युइनली जो आपको भगवान के बारे में अच्छा लगता है. हम सब यहाँ बैठे हैं तो कृष्ण के बारे में कुछ तो अच्छा लगता ही होगा हम लोगों को, राइट? चाहे उनका नाम हो, चाहे उनके कीर्तन हो, चाहे उनके भक्त हो, चाहे उनका फॉर्म हो, चाहे उनका प्रसादम ही क्यों ना हो, कि राधा रास बिहारी आप कितना अच्छा स्वीट समोसा खाते हैं. Whatever works for us, whatever we love about Krishna, we first go and glorify that. Then we introduce ourselves to the Lord. कि अरे भगवान आप तो बहुत सुंदर हैं, मैं आपका दास हूँ, आप पता नहीं जानते हुए भी कि मैं आपका दास हूँ तो भी मैं आपका सेवा नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ ढंग से, जानते हुए कि भी मुझे ध्यान से जप करना मैं नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, मुझे पता है कि मुझे मंगला आरती में आना था लेकिन मैं सो गया because I choose my bodily comfort over you, my Lord. So I am completely fallen. You are great, and in front of you I really have no qualification. I don't even have any real interest in you. But somehow by your mercy I am here. So if you may so desire, can you please kindly give me, and then ask whatever you want. If it is spiritual desire, ask that. If हम लोग उतने elevated नहीं हैं, जो genuinely बहुत लोग नहीं होते, we have material desires, we are struggling with on a daily basis. Finances हैं, 1000 things हैं, वही सही, ask the Lord that. उसको वंदना में गिना जाएगा, and the Lord will at least appreciate कि चलो यार अपने पास तो आया. Then we leave it to the Lord. But one thing as devotees is important to remember is that let us not get attached to the Lord's fulfillment of our desire. We have to be surrendered to the Lord to say, okay, I have asked you, आपकी इच्छा है तो आप दे देना, मिल गया तो आप समझ लो कि भगवान की इच्छा थी, नहीं मिला तो इच्छा नहीं थी. We have to be comfortable with that. But we have to ask. What will happen by also this process of asking, conversing, Prithviraj was talking about conversing with Krishna, this will build a personal relationship with Krishna. अगर हमें सर्विस करना है तो सर्विस cannot be to this obscure aspect of God, some energy. बहुत सारे लोगों से हम प्रचार करते बोलते हैं ना, I don't believe in God. ये तुम लोग जो मूर्ति पूजा करते हो ना, ये कृष्णा, किसने देखा है कृष्णा? भगवान ऐसे ही क्यों दिखते हैं? है ना? सुनने को मिलता है बहुत सारी चीजें. I believe in this energy that is running the universe. वो ऑब्सक्योर एनर्जी जो है ना, आपका कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता है. क्या करोगे? एनर्जी को क्या डिस्क्राइब करोगे? अरे एनर्जी, और सो एनर्जेटिक, आई एम फीलिंग एनर्जी. I genuinely don't understand how it works. What are you going to do with that? Will you be able to have a relationship with that person? Will you be able to love energy? Will you be able to go embrace energy? क्या करोगे? क्या करोगे?
There is no form.
So that's what I'm saying. There's nothing. There is nothing.
Talking in the air.
It is talking in the air.
I mean, I don't feel.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. One can delve into it. I'm not nullifying it. The concept of a formless Lord exists. Krishna has a formless form as well. Unfortunately, that form is not suited to bhakti-maya relationships. उस फॉर्म का रिलेशनशिप नहीं कर सकते. वो बोला काका है जो यूएस में रहता है, सालों से रहता है, उसको हैप्पी दिवाली का व्हाट्सएप भेजते, वो भेजता है वापस, उसके डिस्प्ले पिक्चर में ऐसा सीनरी है. नो कनेक्शन. दैट इज द ब्रह्मन फॉर्म. सबका होएगा, माता जी लाफिंग, ऐसा कोई तो रिलेटिव होएगा उनका भी. मेरे तो है. वो बर्थडे विशेष ग्रुप, फैमिली ग्रुप में बर्थडे विश आता है, हैप्पी बर्थडे. I don't know who you are, man. Like, but yeah, that concept doesn't work. Vandanam works very beautifully because the Lord is there, you are there, you're having a conversation, and there is reciprocity as well. Personal tip to everybody, Radha Ras Vihari, extremely reciprocity. बहुत extreme है उनका reciprocity. Try करके देखो, नहीं तो पैसा वापस. Personally, I am telling you, go to Radha Ras Vihari, try this formula of, my Lord, you are so beautiful, you are so wonderful, I am so fallen. If you may so desire, can you please grant me this? Bhakti में चीज मांगो, बिना भक्ति का चीज मांगो. Generally, राधा रास पे डिलीवर करते ही हैं. या तो वो डिलीवरी कर देंगे जो आपने मांगा है, नहीं तो नहीं देंगे, तो उसके साथ इतना धासु रियलाइजेशन देंगे ना, that you like, wow, अच्छा हुआ नहीं मिला, बच गए भाई. So very important. And I am saying especially Radha Ras Vihari.
Now we come to know from where all the apples are coming.
It's actually true though. You know, it's actually true. When I started my career, I was from a really like okay B school. In a recessionary year, I passed out. There was no way I was going to get a job. And I was in HR. HR then was a cost center. No one was giving job to HR people. But I wanted to stay in India because somehow I wanted to serve in India. And a devotee only told me this. मैं जो बात कर रहा था ना कि जाओ DTs को बोलो, you should just pray to Radha Ras. If I went and I prayed to Radha Ras, I said, देखिए, and I was going for an interview just that morning. So Shringar thing, I prayed to Radha Ras. I said, see, if you think this job will help me get closer to you, Even if I am the most unqualified person for the job, please mujhe de dena, theek hai? I will try to serve you in whatever capacity I can. And if it's going to take me far away from you, even if I am the most qualified person, please do not give me the job. I was an HR student. I went for a market research job. No connection. I got the job. The job placement was in Bombay. And by Krishna's mercy, I think there has been a very big factor in me being close to Raspberry and trying to do what little I do. And I have done this many, many times. I'm not proud of it. But for all things spiritual, all things material, I have only one source to go to. And I either get what I want or I get a realization explaining to me why I did. And it's a very direct personal reciprocation. ऐसा generic नहीं होता. राधा रास्ते का system बताया क्या है ना? ऐसा वो generic God वाला कि अच्छा ऐसा होगा वैसा नहीं है. जब वो reciprocation होगा वो आपके साथ होगा. You will know कि हाँ ये तो personally मेरे लिए हुआ है. It really just depends on how much faith and surrender you have in that bandhanam. Do it, try it. भक्ति का ये सारे जो अंग है ना, ये जो नवविधा भक्ति है, ये सब प्रैक्टिकल चीज है. आपको करना पड़ेगा. ये कॉन्सेप्चुअल चीज नहीं है. ये वो ऐसा समझने वाली बात नहीं है. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. This bhakti is to eat. इसको you have to taste it to know it. Vandhanam then क्या है? दास्यम, सक्ष्यम, दास्यम then सक्ष्यम. हाँ, so दास्यम है is to become the servant of the Lord and remain. Servant of the Lord means सारी उनकी सेवा करना servant. Sakhyam is to become the Lord's friend. And when we say friend, we basically mean it doesn't mean कि भगवान के कंधे में हाथ रख के चलो. वो बात का स्टेज है. सख्यम at a base level मतलब जो हम जिनके सुहृद होते हैं, जिनका अच्छा सोचते हैं, वो सख्यम होता है. तो अगर कभी ठंडी हो गई यहाँ पे बॉम्बे में और हमें लगा कि मैं भगवान की कुछ अच्छा करना चाहिए, हमारे घर पे हमने भगवान को शॉल उड़ा दी, वो भी सख्यम में आता है. क्योंकि हमने उनके हित की कामना की. अगर मौसम चेंज हो रहा है, बारिश हो रही है और भगवान को हमने जो दूध ऑफर करते हैं उसमें थोड़ी सी अदरक डाल दी, हल्दी डाल दी कि भगवान को थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा, वो सख्यम. And then Atmanivedana is to completely surrender ourselves to the Lord. It's a difficult one. It's not easy because Atmanivedana literally means everything. Surrender to the service of the Lord. We'll get there. It's a lifetime of practice. And your entire life is targeted towards that. We should pray that we can get there. But even if we can't get there, there are 8 more processes that we can do. And if we can somehow find ways, and I mean, I'm sure Vijayanath Prabhu and Prathavi will talk to you about it, but there are devotees who have led their lives like this. Srila Prabhupada, the prime example of a life in service. There are devotees around us who are living this life of service. If we can learn from them, if we can associate with them, we can find out their tips and tricks and hacks of how they do it. And we can continue doing that. I think that is going to be what will bring us closer to Krishna and what will really, make sure that we're constantly thinking about Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Janvallabh, Girivaradhari, Yashodanandan, Braja Kanaranjan, Jamuna Tira, Vanachan. Thank you for your patience. We're already half an hour over. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Apurva Gopal, is Partha Prabhu around?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. You're sharing those forms now, right?
Oh, it's not ready to, but maybe I'll do fast time.
Okay.
Should we make it properly and then share, or have the conversation?
Okay, I think we'll make it, but you can still have a conversation, at least announce it, and or maybe you know what, just pass on the papers, call out each question, let them spend 10-15 minutes and write. I think that'll be, if people are not really dying out of hunger, then spend that 15 minutes and do it today. It'll be nice.
Great.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So, firstly, we thank Apurva Gopal Prabhu for speaking so wonderfully on today's session. And I was just, as Prabhuji was speaking, the more I was realizing how far and distant we are from Krishna, rather as we are in. So, very, very thankful Prabhuji, because devotees who are personally serving the Lord, in a very personal way, that is like the crux of what bhakti is, as Prabhuji was telling us towards the end. So, at every moment in our life, in our day, how much we are Krishna conscious. Even the small examples of, I will cook something for the Lord, it's the winter season, I will do something for the Lord. It actually is a mood of service. So it is completely moving our consciousness away from who we are, what is my need, what do I need, to what is, how I can serve Krishna. So if this shift can happen in our consciousness, that is like success for all of us. We're very, very thankful to Prabhuji for this wonderful discussion, and we can have this association more in the future. So we chant once loudly, so Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
So in continuation to this, we have some services also, because the talk was about services. So sometimes it might feel that we heard so much about service and we should be engaging in service. So we all feel that you all would want to do some service for the Lord. Yes. So some of you are already doing some small services. So in the future we'll have many more services. And the best thing is, if we understand what things we are good at, certain skills, talents that we have, we can use that in Krishna's service, then we are also happy like that. Otherwise, we use it elsewhere. Right? So, one thing is to identify what we are good at, what things we like to do, what are our skills. And practically everything can be used in Krishna's service. So, be it IT, be it cooking, be it singing, whatever it is. Like that. So, we can take out some time now, maybe a few minutes, to list down things that we think we are good at, things that we aspire to become good at. Okay, there might be things that we are not good at right now, but then we think that no, this is something that I really like to do, and like to learn in Krishna consciousness. So we can think of such things. So in the future, there are many upcoming services. Specifically, there is a little plan of starting a new center, right? It should be like a temple only. So everything that happens in a temple will happen in that center. It is in a very safe form right now. Where it will be, how it will happen, that will be time will tell. So basically, that everything is done in a temple will be done at the center also. So whether it's cooking for the Lord, worshiping the deities, holding programs, leading kirtan, everything practically. So all kinds of services will be welcome there. Then we are having the Kartik month. So the idea is to, Kartik month is like just a week away.
Yeah.
Just a week away. So in the month of Kartik, we go to everyone's house and we offer diya, lamp. It is said that in this month of Kartik, it's very nice to offer lamp to the Lord. It has various big glories of just offering a lamp every single day of the month. So the Kartik month is there, the whole month will be there. And every day in the temple also, we can come and offer lamp, morning and evening, 7:30. So if we are not able to come, then we do it at our home every day. And there is a beautiful prayer, Damodarshan, on the same time. So once we will try and also visit everyone's house and hold the program. So again, there will be some services required there. It may be coordination, it may be arranging for lamps, and so on. So these services are also there. So like that, few services are there which we will let you know. So if you wish to volunteer for any of these services, you can please tell us which one to get on. And then we'll let you know how you can be engaged. these services. So, like Prabhuji said so emphatically, that bhakti means devotional service. It's not just devotion, it's an active thing. Right? So, we can speak so much about glories of devotion service from the scriptures, from the Bhagavad Gita, Acharyas, but we will only come to know when we actually engage in it. Only when we serve the Lord, we'll know how wonderful it is and that no other happiness in the world compares to it. So, it's a very nice opportunity. So, maybe we'll take 2-3 minutes if you all can just jot down some things about things that you like to do currently. It may be even material things for now.
Yeah, but let it be material things.
Yeah.
See, the point of service, one thing to do is that if I can take up a service that is something I'm naturally inclined to doing. If I'm naturally inclined towards music, if I take up kirtan as a service, it feels more easier for me to do. If I'm someone who enjoys cooking and eating, if I take up cooking for the Lord as a service, it just sort of naturally fits and you sort of find it becomes easier for us to do. As we advance in spiritual life, we become capable of taking on even difficult challenges to the Lord. To start with, let's just decide, let's jot down things that you're good at in your personal life and skills that you could, easily sort of almost naturally engage in the Lord's service. Don't think about कैसे engage करूंगा, वो मत सोचो. मुझे क्या पसंद है लाइफ में करना, हॉबीज में क्या करना, जॉब में क्या करने में मैं अच्छा हूँ, उतना भी लिख देंगे ना. I think then that skill matching will be the next step.
So we just take 2 minutes. You can maybe if you have a piece of paper or something, or if you like to make a note in your mobile phone, you can do that also, and that will be easier to share. So you can just take.
Should everybody WhatsApp you?
Yeah. Yes.
Or like half you, half.
So right now, just note it down wherever, and then later you can just WhatsApp and share. So we were supposed to have a proper form, but then somehow not do it. So just a request to just jot it down anywhere. Or not anywhere. Share it with us.
Let everyone jot down their thoughts and ideas, and then we'll float this form across as well. So then they just have to, transfer it, whatever they've written, wherever.
Just one request is don't think about कि ये सेवा में कैसे यूज होगा, वो भी मत सोचिए. मुझे क्या करना पसंद है, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ अच्छे से, वो लिखिए. Don't worry about सेवा में तो ये यूज नहीं हो सकता, वो सोचिए.
And I think devotees online as well, whoever is still here, you all could also, no matter the distance, etc., you all can still note down. It'll be helpful, even if you're not directly serving, say for example, in Radha Rasgiri, etc. We could definitely figure out in your own areas, or even something remotely might be possible as well.